everybody, it's Sean Price here with Sean and Kelly's Market Snapshot. What has happened in the last 7 days in the Northern Virginia real estate market in under 5 minutes. Here we go. Okay, so the market feels like it's calming down. It has been a calm last 7 days. It feels like everything is kind of relaxing a little bit. We did have that property last week that went under contract in the first day with multiple offers, but this week it's been a little bit more. It's been a little bit different. So let's take a look at the stats and see if the stats match what the feeling is. But that's just kind of what the feel of the market has been. All right. So if we dive into this, as always, our black line is going to be the buyer activity, or that's the demand. So you can see buyer activity actually decreased again for the third week in a row. Our teal line is the inventory or supply, and so you can see that inventory actually increased in the last 7 days. So this is a classic supply versus demand ratio, which is something that indicates whether it's a strength of a seller's market or a buyer's market. So in this example, we have neutral is right here. Anything above this line is going to be considered a seller's market. Anything below is going to be considered a buyer's market. And you can see that this week, because this gap closed in so close together, that we actually got right on that line. So last 7 days, we have been in a normal market. So does this mean that the market this summer has come to an end? Does this mean that buyer activity is going to continue to decline? It's really hard to tell at this point. It could. It very well could. We could be seeing a softening of the market. There's a lot of rumors out there about inventory or interest rates may end up coming down, and a lot of buyers mistakenly will sit on the fence waiting for the inventory or the interest rates to come down, thinking that they can save money. But the fact of the matter is there's so many buyers sitting on the fence. As soon as those rates come down, the buyers are going to flood the market and you're going to be overpaying for the property. So now is actually a really, really, really good time for buyers. And I say that every week. And I'm really kind of pushing hard on this because we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. And I do think that once we start seeing the stabilization of these potential Doge cuts that have come through, because we have personal friends right now that are waiting until end of July, maybe August, to find out, they know that there's a cut coming to their department, but they need to find out if they're going to be a part of it or if they're going to still have a job. So there's a lot of uncertainty there, but I think that uncertainty is going to start falling off here in the next couple months. And as that happens, if the Feds start bringing the interest rates down and you start having this buyer activity start increasing, we could have a very, very strong fall. And what that means for buyers is that buyers may end up getting into those bidding wars again, especially during the fall, because inventory tends to fall back. And once school starts, inventory tends to fall back. And if you have buyer demand going in, it's going to be a very competitive market. So it's a really, really good time for buyers right now to if you're considering buying in the next 30 to 60 days, get out there now, because you can see that it's kind of a normal market. As far as the inventory is concerned, or as far as what I think is going to happen next week, I think that buyer activity is going to pick up just a little bit next week, simply because there's a lag here. When there's no inventory to buy, the buyers can't buy it. So now that this had a little peak of inventory here, then I expect the buyer activity to jump up there. I don't think it's going to be a major jump, but I think it will increase this next week. Now we're going to go into the July 4th weekend. When that happens, we're going to see a dip. You can see right here, July 4th weekend, there's a significant dip in buyer activity on that week. So you got this window for the next couple weeks as a buyer to really take advantage of this opportunity. So that's what the feel of it is. So buyers, it's a really good time. Get out there, be strategic. There are properties that are still going with multiple offers, as we showed last week with the one that we had, but there's just more opportunity. Sellers, if you come on the market right now, it's still a good time. You can still get market value because there's still a buyer pool out there, but you have to price it appropriately and you have to get it prepared right. You can't just throw something on the market and expect it to sell. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so the new feature that we have, and I just want to kind of show you what's happened in the contract trends the last couple weeks. So this is put together by Cardinal Title. It is one of the largest title companies in Virginia. So this is their internal data looking at all the contracts that came in. So for this week's sampling, we have 183 contracts from June 17th to June 23rd. Now what's important about this is this shows us some good actual contract data. Over what we just went over was numbers. This gives us contract data. So you can see that in Virginia, it's the middle line here. In Virginia, sorry, I had a weird noise coming in. In Virginia, we had 39% of the contracts went for higher than list price. So properties are still going up in value. People are still buying properties and bidding up on properties. 32% went at list price, and then 29% went below. So 71% of the properties went at or above list price, and they went in less than 22 days. So 32% were in 22 days, 42% were 0 to 7. So this blue here pretty much matches this blue here. So that's showing that when a property is prepared right and priced right, and you create that demand, that you're likely going to close it quickly and you're going to get above market value. So that just shows the importance of pricing. This 29% on properties that went below list price, that does not mean that they went for under market value. It just means that they went for below list price. It could have been that the property was overpriced and they had to come down on their pricing, which is the majority of time that happens. And again, you're going to see that number, 29% that went, the 32% that went below list price are usually the ones that sit for more than 22 days. That's because they're overpriced. So, sorry, I got my colors mixed up there a little bit as I was going through that. Okay, so financing versus cash here in Northern Virginia, the majority of properties were financed. And then the next thing you want to see here is, this is why it's really good for buyers right now as well, is because for the first time in quite some time, the majority of buyers are getting their protections. So for example, 74% of the properties in Virginia, the contracts, they had their finance contingency intact. 70% had their appraisal contingency intact. And this is a number that is really surprising. 46% actually got home inspections. Now, 54% still did not. That shows that there is competition. Does not mean that you're going to get a home inspection, but you have better opportunities. But I will tell you that of this 54% that did not get a home inspection during the contract, most of them probably got pre-offer inspections, because a lot of sellers are allowing that at this point. So it's a good time for buyers, not only in the competition side of it, but also because you can actually get your protections built into the contract. So I hope to be able to show these statistics each week. It just depends on when I receive it from Cardinal Title, but I hope you found this stuff helpful. If you are a buyer and you're considering coming into the market, get in touch with me and Kelly. We're happy to sit down with you and put together, get you access, number one, to all of the on-market and off-market properties. Number two, put together a strong plan for you to be able to buy the property and find the property that you want. And number three, for us to help you come up with a financial plan as well for the property, for the, what your monthly payment's going to look like, how this all needs to work out. We're happy to do that at no charge to help you walk through that process. If you're considering selling, we would love to sit down with you, come by the house, take a look at it, let you know what updates you might want to do that could give you your best return on investment, what kind of preparation you could do, and get a good idea about what you might be able to go on the market for. So we're happy to do that for the buyers and or the sellers. Just reach out to us at 703-783-2143. If you have any questions, please let us know, and we will see you on next week's Snapshot. Have a great week.